Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Steven Inks, and I've done it. I went ahead and bought another fancy schmancy expensive pen, and we're gonna look at it today. I am so excited about this video. It is the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. Check out the little finial. Is it out of focus? Can you see, is it in focus? It's kind of not in focus. Anyway, it's cool. I'm so excited to use this pen, to play around with it, to tell you what I think. I think we should just get started. Let's look at it. Okay, first impressions. This is the box it came in. It was very simple. It says Sailor on the side. There's some numbers, some Japanese, and this barcode on the back with a little picture of the pen. Slide it out of the box. And again, it's a nice box, but it's not one that I'm gonna feel sad about not keeping because it's just a little cardboard box. And it says Sailor on the front. Nice little logo right there. But it's not really meant to be kept. And I'm actually very happy with that because I have too many random boxes that I just can't throw away. Anyway, opening it up, these are my first impressions. Okay. Some documentation. It seems to all be in Japanese, so I don't know what any of that says. If you speak Japanese, let me know. If you speak Japanese and you're a fast reader, because I'm not gonna leave that up. Here is the pen, and it comes in this little plastic case, and this is a no-joke container that does not want to open easily. So if you're trying to get this out, I would highly recommend that you have a pair of scissors, unlike me, who does not have a pair of scissors, because I spent all my money on pens. There we go. I'm just gonna open this up so I can get it out. This is all great footage, great content. Me trying to open a plastic bag. Okay, here we go. And this is, I saw something like this on my Platinum 3776, and maybe this is a Japanese thing. There's a number on here, so it could be a price or something like that. And this is how they tag them. I don't know. But here's the pen. Oh, shout out to Sailor. Buy a $150 to $200 pen, and they say, hey, guess what? You can have 2 cartridges, but no converter. Sailor, you're gonna go bankrupt if you keep being that generous to your customers, because there's 2 of them. Enough sarcasm. Here is the pen, and it is a very nice thing to hold in the hand. It feels, this is a Pro Gear Slim. It does feel short, but I'm imagining with posting, and we'll see that in a minute, it should be great. In the same way, similar, again, this is, I'm buying a lot of comparison to my 3776. We've got a gold band, and it says Sailor Japan, founded 1911. Okay. Gold clip, gold colored clip, I should say. Springy. Works. There's that gorgeous Sailor finial. I really like how that looks, the green and the black. It's a really nice combination of colors. And here is this end cap right here also is the same color, the black with the gold ring. So it's got a nice balance to it as a look. As I open up, we're gonna see this nib. Oh, it's got a nice, this nib, this feed has got a little bit of a squat kind of quality to it. It looks kind of like chubby. It's interesting, I like it. Yeah, so and then I'm holding this in my hand, and I have pretty large hands, but this would be a little bit uncomfortable without posting, but I do think that these pens are designed to be posted. Just like my 3776, I usually post it, and it's perfect for length of hand, like for my size hands, what I have going on here, which I think is a little bit on the large side. This is a medium fine nib, and when I look at it, it looks like it'll be like a Western extra fine, not fine, fine, super fine, but fine enough. That's my hope anyway. And gonna open up. There's a little, oh nice, there's a little rubber ring on the inside of that. I have seen this on my Jinhao 85, and it does, I think the only advantage I can see here is that just when you're closing it, right before it closes completely tight, there's a little bit of resistance and pressure, and it just makes it feel really satisfying to tighten it up. So yeah, that's nice. I do like the engraving on this nib right here, or stamping it probably is, and it is a 14 karat gold nib. The regular Sailor Pro Gear, the non-slim, I believe is 24 karat, but it is a 14 karat gold. Those are the features of the pen. I'm kind of curious. I was always too afraid to do this with my 3776, but just for all the kids out there, nope, that does not move, and I don't recommend moving it. All right, learn from my mistakes, or the mistake I decided not to make. Interesting thought here is that someone who was reviewing this pen made mention that the body has these striations in it, which is part of the design. It's part of the resin that this is made out of, and it looks nice to me, but that the cap doesn't have them. And when I'm looking at the cap, yeah, it might be just that it's a random pattern and doesn't show up everywhere, but it is kind of weird. It's not going to affect my enjoyment of the pen at all, but this has these kind of stripy patterns. I don't know if you can see that very well. And this part, the cap doesn't seem to have that. Oh wait, there is a little something right there near the clip. Interesting. Anyway, I also have, there's some booklets here, and I bet you they're all in Japanese. So yes, cannot read that. And let's see, I also cannot read that. There's some pictures though. I can read pictures. It's describing how to use all of their pens. Interesting. And maybe cleaning methods and a QR code, which probably shows some stuff in Japanese as well. Category topics, knowledge. Ooh, scan this QR code to get some knowledge. Anyway, that's all that there is to this box. It's really just a simple little box. Probably won't last very long in my collection. I'll put this in a different place so I can use it more often. I do want to point out that I also have bought a Sailor ink converter, and that's gonna be used in this pen. I knew that it was gonna come without a cartridge, without a converter. Came with two cartridges. Two cartridges, you guys. It's a bargain. But not to be sarcastic, but I have bought a couple of pens that are of this kind of price range, and it's surprising to me how many of those pens do not come with converters when you can pay $15 to $20 for a cheaper pen, of course, but it comes with a converter. Anyway, not that big of a deal because I do have one. And one thing I really like about Sailor converters is that you can actually take them apart all the way, including the piston, so you can give it some silicone grease if it needs it. If it's got something blocked in there or something that won't come clean, you can actually take it apart and clean it. These are nice, sturdy, solid converters. I highly approve. Let's get that converter into the pen, then we'll ink it up. Okay, forgive me for being very boring today, but I'm going with black ink again just because I have a specific drawing in mind that I want to do for this pen. And colored inks, I have some greens, the Diamine Sherwood green and the Colorverse. I cannot even remember the name of that color. And they're a little bit boring to me, so I'm just gonna go with something that I'm interested in. And it's gonna be Atramentis Document Black, merely for the purposes of or the fact that this is in one of these Goulet ink sampler kits. I'm going to use the converter directly to fill it up, as opposed to putting the pen in, which is what I would normally do, put the nib in and let it soak through. I just find this is easier for this kind of, almost had a spill, for this kind of container, because we have to oftentimes be a little bit creative with how we fill. A little bit of leaning, and okay, that's not a complete fill, but these things are a little bit finicky, so getting that taken care of, we are going to tap off anything excess and then place it on. We are ready to roll. Okay, ready for some lines. I'm hoping that this medium fine length is not a deal breaker for me, because I really wanted a fine or even an extra fine, but this particular finish, which I kind of liked and wanted to use, was only available in the medium fine, which I'm assuming would be great for like an office application, or if you're writing a lot, give you a thicker line. But hopefully it's not something that I can't work with for drawing, so we're going to find that out right now. All right, so here we go. Oh, okay, this is actually nice. Sailor Pro Gear Slim, and it is an MF nib, which, you know, get your mind out of the gutter. It means medium fine. You need to calm down over there on YouTube. Here's what some of these lines might look like. I'll do some 3D shapes for you, and then, yeah, I feel like there's a good deal of control. This paper, which is Strathmore 500 series mixed media paper, gives a really nice feedback. But on something smooth like Tomoe River, you're going to get something a lot smoother and probably a little bit thicker. But this is actually quite thin compared to what I was expecting. This actually is very similar to my soft fine that I have on my Platinum 3776. So that's very nice. That's actually a really nice fine nib. So if you're in the market for something like that, it exists, and the medium fine should not be a scary thing for you to consider investing in. And I can feel the softness of the nib. You can see up here it's a little bit thicker than it is down here. And if I push with some medium pressure, I wouldn't recommend overextending this nib, because you could spring the tines, which means you make the gold nib bend out of alignment, and it will cost you a lot of money to fix it. Maybe even almost as much as the pen cost you. I don't know. I've never done that. So don't give it too much pressure. But here's a very good, this is really light pressure, and you can see how thin those lines are. You get thinner strokes out of the mixed media paper as well. So it's a combination of three things. It's your ink plus your pen, plus your paper. But if you want thin lines, this does deliver. And just to try some stuff out, put some texture over here. Let's try to do this rectangle with some thick lines. The perspective on this is going to be terrible, but you'll forgive me. I know you will. And okay, that is an interesting, like the range here, we've got this kind of thin line right here up to this really thick line, and reverse writing, by the way, is even thinner. And it's pretty smooth. So you can get some nice lines out of that any way you turn it. So let me just get some of this going on. While I try and think of some good art advice. Yeah, I'm having fun with this pen. I can see this being a great tool for someone who's willing to invest the money because it's a more expensive pen. But it is not disappointing me, and that's harder to do the more expensive something is. And so that's kind of the trade-off. You know, a pen can have flaws when you pay $20 for it, but when you pay upwards of $100, even like $200, it better do everything it says and more. It better include at least 2 ink cartridges. Sorry, Sailor, I keep making that joke. It's still funny though. How come you didn't give me a converter? Come on, Sailor. Let me know. Anyway, I think I'm done with this from a sketchy standpoint. It does seem to work for me. See, and then with that medium pressure, I can get a decently thick line for art advice. Art advice. Only say yes to projects you love. Someday, if you're someone who's trying to build their skill, you'll probably come across a person who wants to work with you. And I've had this experience many, many times where they say, I love your art and I want to work with you on a project. It's perfect for you. And there's all this flattery and it makes you feel really good. And when it comes down to it, most of the time when people reach out to you earlier in your art career, what they're looking for is free work, or they're looking for a cheaper version of whoever they really like. And it's disappointing, but that kind of is what ends up happening when someone is looking at your work. They're saying, oh, this person is very similar to this other person that's too expensive for me. I'll bet I could get them to work for cheap. So you can't really decide who reaches out to you, but you can decide who you say yes to. And I have had this experience myself working on a children's book, and I spent a year and a half on it, only to have, when the art was finished, the person decided they didn't want to pursue the project anymore. They paid me half of what they agreed to pay me, and I never heard from them again. And I lost a lot of sleep over that project, and I got some gray hairs. You might have noticed that I still have those with me. But in the end, I feel like I should have said no, even though I was very flattered to be involved in a project like that, because I didn't love it. And if you're going to spend all your time doing a project, and the one that's offered to you is not something you love, then work for yourself. Do your own projects. Find something you love and you create that. And it's not any more real or less real than a project that someone else comes up with for you to do. So say yes to yourself, say yes to things you love, and say yes to this drawing sample that is coming right now. So you're going to see me at the very beginning of this drawing. I actually do the whole thing, or do part of the thing and erase it like 3 times. This is a drawing that I've always wanted to do. It's just a dumb idea I've had in my head for, I feel like it's been probably 2 or 3 years that I've just had this idea. I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if there was a boat and some other stuff that I won't give away. No spoilers for the next 3 to 4 minutes, how it's going to go. But this is kind of, I guess we could even call this a little bit of art advice. You know, throw away your sketches. I quickly decided when something wasn't working and I just got rid of it and started over. But just keep doing it until you get something that you like. And each time that I made them realize that I was not going to like how things were coming out and tried it again, I found the composition got easier and closer together. So if you have a really good idea, keep drawing it. You know, even if you kind of feel like you got it and it was what you wanted it to be, there might be ways you could improve it, ways that many years of practice and building of skills could actually make it work better. Or you could improve your composition, or you could just try it from a different angle, add that one extra element, and then you end up with something really cool that you didn't realize could be even better than your original idea. So keep going back to your stuff. When you think that you can't do something, just do it anyway, and you can always do it correctly later. So this is my do it correctly vibe. I think this drawing is in my sketchbooks over the years, at least 3 or 4 times. And it didn't work until I just decided, well, I'm going to do it for this video. And of course, I have my sailor pen with that little anchor finial. I had to do a nautical themed drawing, and this just ended up being the one that I wanted to do. So here it is. I hope you enjoy it. And speaking of enjoyment, I am really enjoying this pen. I wouldn't have said when I started my fountain pen journey that a pen that costs more than $100 would be worth it over any other kind of pen. But man, this pen is making me eat those words, because it's just so responsive. It's comfortable. The nib feels nice, and I just feel like whatever kind of line I need from it, I can just get that. Like it's just very pliable. The nib in my hand is very nice and works very well. So this is truly a fantastic pen. I'm very happy with it. I recommend it to anyone who's looking to purchase a gold nib pen. I think, because right now I have 3 gold nib pens. I have my Lamy 2000, I have this pen, and I have the Platinum 3776 in soft fine. And I do like all 3 of those pens for their own reasons, but for the reason of drawing and doing traditional pen and ink stuff, I gotta say, this would be my pick. It's a fantastic nib, a fantastic, beautiful pen. And I had so much fun making this piece for you guys. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed this, if you'd like to see more detailed work like this from me in the future. Again, I love hearing from you guys, and I just hope that this drawing finds you well, and that you go out there and create something great with the supplies that you have, and that you keep working on it. Just keep working, keep trying, keep doing new things, and if you mess up, that's okay, because you can get it right later. Just like I feel that I definitely got it right with this drawing after so many years of trying to make my dumb narwhal joke work. There it is. All right, it was a lot of fun to do. I hope you guys enjoy it. And it's time for me to just make a few final thoughts, and then we'll end. conclusions about the Sailor Pro Gear Slim. They sometimes say you have to pay for quality, and in this case, it couldn't be more true. I think this might be my favorite pen that I own right now. We'll see if that remains the case for a long time, but the nib is so responsive and smooth. It's just about the perfect line weight. It feels fantastic in the hand, and it looks so cool. I just get excited about holding this pen in my hand, and that's what a good pen is supposed to do for you. So I couldn't recommend it more if it's within your budget. If not, there's a lot of other great pens, steel nib pens that are fun, other recommendations you can get from this channel. I hope that if you enjoy this video and others like it, you'll subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and I can't wait for the next video. In the meantime, I'm going to be playing with my pen.